Hi, thanks for watching. Last week we showed you what happens when you mix the contents of this in water, and sometimes people ain't happy until they see blood. So let's show them some blood, Chris. Floor is yours, mate.
Good evening, everybody. This is Chris FE once again on Sunday Night Live with Mick, Rebel, Without a Pause, Jack Streaming, Sandy123, and hi, everybody.
Hey, Chris.
Hi.
Everybody okay?
Hey.
All good here, mate.
We're here. Yeah.
Okay, so this the synopsis of tonight is what you're seeing on the screen here. You can see that.
Yeah.
Yep.
See it.
This is the beginning of another experiment regarding the special free source and my own personal blood. And I'm going to talk, there's no sound to this video, so I'm going to start this off straight away and I'll talk you through it as we go. So I'm going to hit the play button. Here we are. So basically, I put this sample down and I'm adding the special free source as we go. Now, last week it was quite thick and I really couldn't see anything. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually agitating the actual fluid into the blood.
Yeah.
And as I'm doing that, it's actually starting to solidify on the needle end. There's a big globule there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my Bob Beck electrifier probes into this here. And as you can see, once the video settles, you'll see all the little parts of the blood mixed well into the fluid. You see that? And it's a bit lighter at the edges. And it's evenly dispersed candy. There's a few larger ones there, which I try and get. You can see that big blob on the needle there.
Yeah.
I got rid of that. Tasted sweet, but anyway, it's and if you notice as the needle's going through, the blood is attracted to the needle, so there's some sort of electrostatic effect there, perhaps. Now I'm just checking the edge. Yeah, I don't want to get too much rolling around on the edge either. I want to try and get it evened out as much as possible. Now, bearing in mind, this is done in my home, so I wanted to try and get this done as quickly as possible, so to prevent anything getting into there that might be flying around the air. I had sanitized all the equipment beforehand, so it's just like the glass plates, the glass slide, and there we are. So it's settling down now. I thought, well, it's not going to get any better than that. So before it starts to go off, I thought I'd better get my zapper on there. Any second now, he says, hopefully. I've only given this a one. There we go. So here we go. This is plus or minus 27 volts at 4 hertz frequency, and I'm splaying it around, giving it a good old charge, and you can see that sort of blooming effect coming out. It's fizzing there.
Right.
And I try and stop it and start it, take a probe out, and the blood is flowing into the probes. You can see that as it's not giving it a repulsing effect, as I would have thought. It's not pushing the blood away. The blood itself seems to be attracted to the probes. And I don't think it matters which one it is. It seems to be flowing. It's happy to stay there by the look of
It
it.
needs the electricity.
Well, let's have a look and see when I'm sure I lift the probes in a minute. I think, well, I didn't want that fizz to get too much.
Oh, wow.
And so I just welly it around a bit.
Slow.
So I think any second now I'll lift off. So I've lifted off now, and you're left with, and I come back again into a different place where it's thinner. That's right, that's at the end. So I'm giving this a good welly. I wanted the blood to be nice and thin, so there was no possible effect where all that sauce, once it had crystallized, been hidden by the blood, because the blood had been so thick. That was the idea. If you look at remember from the previous video, we had no witnessing effect. So I had the foresight
So
to.
do you think it's because the blood was so thick last time then, Chris?
Yes, because I knew if you remember from the last video, Mick, I said that I knew I'd seen the crystallized effect on the edge of the blood, and I was a bit disappointed that
Aye.
this one.
Yeah.
Now I've removed both probes there. See how the
Yeah.
blood just scattered now. I put
Yeah.
one probe back in, it's saying okay, but the other probe isn't touching yet, so it's all attracted to that probe. That could be just, and then it says, oh, there we go. Let's go, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Take that one off, and he wants to get to that one and mix it around again. Obviously, there's no potential difference. Back in again she goes. And I think pretty much that would be, I think that's going to be it as such. Just see what the, yeah, we're about 60% of the way through the video there. And obviously, when I present the actual high magnification photographs, I will reference the standard blood, the blood with the V source, and
Yeah.
the blood with the electrified V source, or the blood and the V source electrified, which is this one, which will be the last slide. And so I think, well, okay, I may as well let that settle, take that off, get it covered up as soon as possible. Here comes the other side that I just put my blood down on. It's nothing's happened to this. It's just been put down and spread about as best as I could to try and thin it out.
Yeah.
And obviously the lighting effect there is giving you the effect of the blood samples, which are higher in density, whereas everything around is thinner, so it doesn't show up the red so much because the intensity of the microscope light here. But when I finish on the final sort of splay of blood, you'll recognize the shape, hopefully, and then I try with some lighting just to try to see if there's any there.
Yeah.
All these parts on here, Jax, are actually flying stuff from the atmosphere. It's not in a clean room environment, you see. So I just ignore those. Okay.
Mm.
And if you care to remember that type of shape, if you can, little island above, but then something around here, you see, would show up on the microscope and here, but you've got these streaks of where I'd actually try to streak out the blood to make it thinner. So just, again, I tried with the lighting just to see an effect. I think that's a higher point there. Lower points where you can see the light coming through the glass plate.
So we're going to look at these again with a stronger magnification.
Absolutely, Sandy.
Brilliant.
I hope you're strapped in tonight.
I'm
I've got
plugged in.
yeah. I've also got another hypothesis on those stone walls I was talking about. Metaphorically, those. I've got another idea about those, and when I explain about it, it'll seem to make more sense, hopefully. And I don't think they are what we thought they are, and I'll explain about that later. Now, one of the things that Michelle X talks about, and I've sent her a few samples via a third party, and she's talking about liquid crystal.
Yeah.
And if you ever had a calculator with a liquid crystal display and you sort of pushed it with your finger, you see all those colors. And those colors are represented into those samples as well. I mean, with the rings I said to you. Yeah. So technically, it could be that sort of liquid crystal effect. Right, so that video is finished, so I should close that down now. And I'll go straight to the presentation with the standard blood. Okay, we'll start with the standard blood.
Okay.
And I'll just bring that straight up. So this is the standard blood that you saw streaking on the slide. Again, what you don't see inside these thinner parts is the crystallizing effect. I can actually bring that up. You can't see, it's all, obviously the darker patches are more together or thicker clumps, but I've got them strewn out here. You can see a streak mark there that I created, and maybe another one down here. But you've got all these sort of like little clouds in there. Can you see those?
So the dark bits are like blood clots then, Chris?
Well, I wouldn't call them blood clots. It's where the blood it is.
Oh, it's the thickest.
Yeah, I mean the meniscus of the blood, or whatever it is you call it, gathers it together and holds it together. I suppose the skin of the blood, or whatever they're called. But inside here, you've got all these white bits. So I thought that was quite intriguing. The off color in the center, Jax, for your reference, is just the incident light of the magnifying glass at this angle, and you'll see it a bit more, but it's nothing to do with the sample. And next one, again, just more of the same. But if you come into these, I actually start to magnify on these parts here, which is a bit disconcerting for myself because my blood's full of them. I don't think I should be here.
At least we know your spleen works.
Please explain. So,
Sorry.
again, now, okay, let me just go back to this.
That's
Is
interesting.
for Jax. Jax, this is 2.5 times.
I feel like I'm looking at Google Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is 2.5 times magnification.
Yeah, yeah,
This is 5 times.
yeah.
This is 10 times. Okay, and this, as you can see, the color's starting to go off now. The exposure is raised slightly in this, but obviously the difference between each colors with respect to each other has to be the same no matter what the exposure level. All we're looking at is bringing out the foreground detail, and as you can see here, look, no idea. This has to be something physically there. Is it something that was there on the side? I doubt it, because of the randomness of this. It wouldn't. I would have seen all this on that glass plate beforehand if it was that abundant. Now, did I say this was 10 times? Yes. This is 20 times. Okay, and you can see there's not a lot going on. You know, you could construe that as healthy blood. Can't see the Rona this week, but and you get these. No idea. Absolutely no, not a Scooby on that. So that's 20 times, and this is 50 times.
Okay.
All right, so this is the maximum I can go on the microscope. So,
Right.
and it is, yeah, as we said, it has some form, but this is normal blood. Well, as normal as it can be from somebody like myself. And next picture, more of the same. Again here. This one has a tiny little something in there. No idea. And these effects here look like, it almost looks green or something, but just an observation. And next one, and this is actually, again, it's showing out at 2.5 times. It's slightly of the same area. Something going on in the center there. I'm not sure if I have a copy on that. Let's have a look. And I'm moving about now just to give you an overview of the whole area, and if there's any witnessing of that crystallizing effect in my normal blood sample without doing anything to it. Yeah? Are you happy so far, Jax?
Yeah.
Okay. Just stop me if I'm going too fast. There's quite a bit to go through, and I don't mind questions, please, and ask questions of any of us. And more of this again, Mick, and you see that? I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't know if that's normal. I'll need to get your sample or something, Mick, you know.
I'll send you one down.
Yeah.
I'll discuss how we'll manage that as well, so I'll sort that out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll send you some down.
And I mean, to all intents and purposes, this color that it looks green, again with the exposure, obviously on the slide in the normal lighting, it looks red, you know, or darker because it's sort of dried out. And the thicker it is, the blacker it looks actually. And I think that's normal for any blood. If you filled a pint jar, a milk bottle full of blood and held up to the light, it would just look black because the light doesn't
Yeah.
diffuse out of it. It just gets absorbed by the light. So the material looks black. But the thinner it is, the more colour it actually penetrate. And that's 50 times again. No shards here. There's gold in them Thar Hills. Look.
I see that. A
Volcano.
couple of bits like that, Chris.
Yeah, and there too.
Yep. Up above, up at the top.
Yeah, good shout. And again, all these streaks are actually me have trying to displace out. Now, something here caught my eye, which is why I focused this center here. That looks to be something that's happening here and down along here as well. So I thought, right, okay, let's take a look. That's 5 times and 10 times. And you can see the type of effect with the border, the red, the going to the brown, going to the bluey, as it's getting thinner onto the glass slide, and as the light, the exposure is so bright on the glass. I don't think that's probably the streak marks from my needle here.
Yeah, probably a needle.
But more of the same with this stuff here. And this, let's see if I did I take a, yes, I did, but it's a light, What I did here was actually showed the focusing effect on the actual, so it gives you a height definition between this and that. And up here, you can start seeing it's almost, again, those colors we saw, last week, but I'm digressing a little bit here because I was focusing on these parts here and I came up with some sort of idea. Now, here we are. Again, with all this stuff, now you would think, wouldn't you, Mick, this is coming out from underneath. And the reason why I say that, because we have this effect, if we look at the ground and you have a tree that's falling over, or you have a tree that's planted in the ground and its roots start to come through, the ground bows up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening here. These are being lifted, these cracks here being lifted. You see that sort of shadow there as this is coming through, as if it's curing or if it's drying out. So this process was ongoing. It could be something to do with the blood being exposed to the air. Is it actually technically oxidizing? I don't know. But it's just something to put onto record in a naive type of way. More of the same, and more crystals or whatever they are. No idea. The colours. It's very pretty.
Wow.
Very vibrant, don't they?
Yeah, I've got pretty blood, haven't I?
Yeah. I don't think it's supposed to be there, but Chris.
I can't answer that because I can't reference it to anyone else, can I?
Well, let's see if I've got any.
Yeah. Next.
So this is your blood with nothing in it.
That's correct. This is a pure blood sample put down onto a glass slide, allowed to dry, and then looked at under a microscope.
So this is dried.
It has dried, yes. And I couldn't afford to take it to work in. And what I did to try and maintain the cleanliness in transition was I had a tiny little Tupperware pot, and what I did is I layered the first slide at the bottom on a membrane of cling film, and then I put a layer of cling film above that, and I hung it over the edge of the little pot. Then I put the other slide in, did exactly the same. So I layered these glass slides on layers of so they each had their own little compartment inside a pot. Then I sealed the pot, so they weren't going to come into contact with each other or come into contact. The top surface wouldn't come into contact with the cling film, so they were just sort of suspended in the little pot on their own film of cling film. It was only the bottom.
Very smart.
It was just how can I do it? And that's what came to mind at the time. So.
Excuse me, the phone just went, Chris.
So this shape we've seen before, Sandy. You can see there's almost as if it's coming out of this part here.
Oh yeah.
It's bellowed out, hasn't it?
Has that broken off the piece at the back? Broken off the main body.
Off there, you mean?
Yeah, see them.
Yeah.
Colours are there, but then there's a gap.
Yeah, and there's that round hole, isn't it? As if it's
Yeah.
put up. But next one. And then I just show this. Then I just show this here because there's a difference in
Oh, yeah.
height. Everything all right, Mick?
Yeah, it's my son. I told him to call me back later.
Okay, bud. And this was interesting. Just to give you, there's a couple of things here.
What's that, Chris?
Yeah, just talk about this. A couple of things here. This green thing here. Remember we saw that last week when I said
Aye.
Yeah. we did.
it looked like a vegetable or something. Come on to that a little bit later, which is quite interesting in the next presentation. This thing here could be a hair, but just for the matter of interest and for academic visualization,
Yeah.
this is obviously this green thing I was talking about.
Right.
It could be a globule of spit. I don't know. Could be anything. It could be, airborne or whatever.
Aye, some contaminant.
But it has sort of semi-sharp on the top because the lighting
Yeah.
there is actually like a pinnacle of light there. So, but this thing is quite intriguing, and it had.
Yeah.
Excuse me a minute. Just clear my throat. It has these bands on it, and I thought, okay, I may as well take a close up of that. It's very pretty colour, and so I'm thinking, is that a hair? But why, if it's a hair, why has it got these bands on it? So then, when I took a closer look, what I think they are the platelets which have grown or gone over the top. And there's one here which is going over, which looks to be stopped. So I think this was here before the blood, because it's sort of
Right.
come up. So I don't think that stemmed from the blood, just to make a point of that. And as you can
Yeah.
see, this is on the blood going over.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah,
there,
I can see that.
so I don't think this is anything to do with my blood. I think this is
Actually, it's kind of like the last video you made, Chris, where you actually see the crystals crawling over the top of something. You actually see them moving. This is similar to the blood's doing then.
I think so, yeah.
Which would mean the blood would be active then when this happened.
Yeah, which is why I'm saying that would have been there before the blood was down, or it could have landed on the blood whilst it was still settling or wet. Yeah. So it just looks nice, doesn't it, for a picture? But I don't.
Going to say very colourful blood.
It's not blue this week, though, is it?
It's every other colour.
Yeah. And again, the snapshot here again is showing you a bigger picture again from the beginning. I think this was. I just wanted to get back again to show you this is the difference in the thickness, and you've got even looking through this, no crystallizing effect whatsoever. And even if I come down into here, there's absolutely no witnessing of it at all. You've got a few clumps again around here, around these particulates, whatever they are. And moving on again, yeah, I did actually take a snapshot of that. I must say it was very, very hard to stop and not take photos or take snapshots. It was I was just spoiled for choice, to be honest. And I thought at the end of the day, if I see something, I'll photograph it or take a snapshot, and be down with it. There's a lot of information that I have captured. Again, more examples of these. The more we get, the more we can cross-reference. If we get other samples of anyone else's blood, then blood type might come into it. I've no idea.
Yeah.
Again, these are close-ups. These do look like some sort of crystals. This is what Michelle X talks about, and that they've been doing it for years. And it's like we said a few weeks ago that we perhaps think that this stuff is in us, and that the jabs and the vaccines are the catalyst for it. Did you hear that, Jax?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. I follow Michelle. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot coming up about crystals at the moment.
Yes.
A lot, and about how crystalline we are as well.
Yeah, that's right. So
what the Flock TV did quite a good little video about this, and how it's in the enamel of our teeth, in our blood. We're crystalline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you've got crystal structures, you could potentially have a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
So the way crystal, I mean, I've worked on sort of technologies developing liquid crystal displays, even the older ones, you know, and you use it's actually called a TN liquid, and it's called twisted pneumatic, and basically light will enter as an incident to the crystal, but it'll only come out at 45 degrees. It's designed that way. Or you can have light to enter into the crystal and come straight back out, which is why you can read one of those old LCD screens, the black and the grey ones. But if you put them at an angle, you can't read them. But there's some displays were designed to be read at 45 degrees, so you would use a different TN material. And that's how you get it. So you get the light to come back out at 45 degrees. So if you held it vertically in front of you, you wouldn't be able to read it. It'd be like in the sunshine. But that's just So again, this, if you pushed an LCD, a color LCD screen, this is what you'd probably see.
Yeah, you see that. Yeah, you can do that with your laptop.
But this is the blood which has nothing in it. All right. And again, we have some more of these bits and pieces here. And I'm just trying to have a look at my folder now to see how far we are on. I think we're nearly there for this one. More, dare I say, metallic looking stuff. No idea.
Colourful stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I did take a zoom of that one. And back to the holistic picture again. And there's one last thing I think I took a photograph of, which was this fella here. I think.
What magnification is this now?
This is 20 times now. This picture here is 20 times, and the last one is 50. And on the 50 one, because as you can see, it's got height because the top part's out of focus now. So what I did do is I actually focused onto the top, just to try and give some aspect of depth. And there you go. So down the background's out of focus, and the top, we can see the top almost looks like it was, you know, splitting there. Something was coming out, perhaps. Just normal blood. And that, as they say, is that for that. Okay.
So that's what your blood should look like, Chris.
So that's my standard blood. Now we're on to the meat of it now. Are you ready?
Yeah. Been waiting for it all week.
I only did it Sunday. No, did I? No, Saturday.
What day is it? Sunday today.
Yeah, I only did this yesterday.
As confused as you.
Yeah.
You told us the last time you done this. This was your next experiment.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I said last week I'll try and do a thinner one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, straight away, what you can see here is the thinning, thinning effect. There's the high density blood coming down. It's changing color with the exposure of the light there, and look what we have here immediately. Can you see that, Jax?
Mm.
That flowering effect.
Mm.
Okay.
God.
So I can have a look. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. This is the very first slide. The very, very first. And it's everywhere. It's coming up to the red bits. It's starting to not have so much penetration on top. But as it gets thinner, it's starting to become more and more apparent. Okay. And look at these structures. You're going to see more of this, Jax, all right? And the splines. And I've got another theory about this, and I can make an assimilation to a movie that was made a few years ago with Tom Cruise, and I'll talk about it later on. Now, I'll get onto these things as well later on, these pathways and what we're looking at and why this is obviously thick. But what this is we're actually looking at, and I've got another idea about this.
Okay.
And again, I've just focused in more with the blooming effect here.
Looks like a plant.
It looks like a plant, doesn't it? Yeah.
Doesn't it?
But that's sitting, you know, immediately inside the blood. And I might take a, yeah, here we go again. This is closer in. There's a part here which seems to be growing over something, which I don't think it's actually covered. but you can see how it's penetrated into the redder parts now, slightly out of focus because the height's different. And this is all very real. Now, as you can see, this is again blood with the special free source.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
No.
And please say if I'm going too fast, Jax.
No, I'm keeping up here. Good.
Great, just because we've done all this before, so we know what we've looked at before
Right.
and the effects we are now seeing. And so
So is this dry blood or now, or we're on still on your fresh sample?
Right. So all slides. This is the second slide. This is my blood with from the video you saw. I didn't actually show you the video that I just put I put the blood down and mixed it with my needle. But the second, the one with the one with the electrification is coming up next. So this is just the blood that's mixed on a slide. Okay.
Okay.
So again, here you can see all this. I come in closer. So this is about 5-10 times. I think that might be 20 times. Again, these colors here, I think are there originally, and this thing doesn't look to be too happy growing into it, does it? It's sort of okay. Yeah, but everywhere else, look, it's growing over. There's that part of that piece below. Look, it's just. I mean, this is just an opening salvo. It gets worse, believe me, a whole lot worse. And as I come down here, you can see more blooming effects all the way across the whole picture. Something down there, which is interesting. Again, it was hard not to do something. I was like, oh, I'll get back to that. Oh, what's that? Oh, what's this? Every movement of.
It reminds me of the stuff we find in the sky, the lights in the sky. Yes. When I look at the videos, when I look at it in slow motion, I want to keep taking snapshots.
And the time just went like so,
It does, mate.
Right, here's Sri Lanka. And look at this stuff down here. It's ridiculous. I mean, come on. You can see here how thick that blood is, but there's enough circumference of this, I guess, with this sitting on top to allow the fluid to emanate out around it. And it's actually just blossomed, hasn't it? Look, from below, connecting up here. And I come into this area here first. This is when I'll talk about that film. It'll make sense when I say. I'll just give you a sort of tour of the circumference at the moment, and again you can see the same effect everywhere. Look,
that's incredible,
isn't it?
It's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this again is the thicker part of that little globule, and it's thinned out quite nicely. And as you can see, that is it's building up a picture now, isn't it?
It's like restructuring it.
Now all these segments below, which we saw in the video last week, we saw as it came away from the blood, it was sort of like a green plane with all these cracks. Now this time, because it's not contained under the blood, has come out, and it's grown over the top.
Yeah.
And it's had its ability to actually extend outwards. And all these clumps of stuff here, no idea what this is. But as you can see, this is growing over this. And it was like that film, The War of the Worlds, where those tripods were blasting out all this crap all over the land. And it was growing over everything and changing the landscape. The weeds, yeah. This is what this looks like, And, and it broke up and died in the end, didn't it? And... we can pick this, but if this was contained inside the body, I wonder how it would have ended up metamorphosizing. But because the heating's on in the room, I'm not sure if it has an effect on what happened here until it did completely give up the ghost and solidify. No idea. You see what I'm saying? But this is an overlay onto these parts here which would have been natural without the V source. Yeah.
Aye.
Oh,
Who
It's
knows?
like a river system.
Good God.
And these, let me go back to that one first. This area here down the bottom, mid bottom, this is this. Appease anybody? I mean, what are these?
It does look very organic, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, good shout. And there's
you
the
know when we looked at Google Earth and Egypt and we were seeing all those
Aye.
sort of like plasma fractal,
Yeah.
it looks like that.
yeah, and you can see the flowering or the crystal there. It's slightly deformed, but here I'm not sure if this has had an effect on the blood, so it's creating this, or this is part of this. It's seeded this, or what? I don't know. It's chicken and the egg. I don't know. It's just there, okay? So, and this was the, if you picture the islands that said Sri Lanka, this is on the west side.
Yeah.
You still there, Jax?
Yeah. Watching.
You got an itch?
I just put my pajamas on.
Okay.
Too much information.
I wonder why your camera was off.
I would just check to make sure there. I tell you, mate. Well, that would have been weird.
Thanks for that, Jackie.
Yeah. Somebody, please pass me the mind bleach. Okay, so
comfy now. Yeah,
brilliant.
all done.
This is the west side of the picture we were looking at, as I said, Sri Lanka. I'm going to come down into here. Again, as the fluid had resided in this, what you're seeing, the white area is the glass plate with the exposure setting, so you can't really see much on it. But this, it does define the fluid extenuating out to here. And again, zooming in onto that, yes, you can see the height difference here. This blood is out of focus because of the height difference. This is 20 times. And I think we'll go up to about 50 times now. And you can see, just look at the state of that. What is it?
Wow. So this stuff must be going inside people who get this jab then.
Well, the question is would this do the same when it's inside the body?
Well, how do we find it?
I stick a microscope in somebody.
Aye.
I don't know.
You have to have blood like at body temperature flowing through tubes and.
You can't.
You're getting a bit Frankenstein now, Jackie.
Just setting up a laboratory now. How can we do this?
Yeah, it has to. There's many.
First, we need a victim.
He's going to volunteer.
Aye.
The newbie.
You tried other things as well, didn't you? You tried different strange substances in blood. There's like comparisons.
No, what I did do is just put the special free sauce into distilled water, into tap water, left it on its own.
Tried it in different.
Tried electrifying it and then zapping it, and yes, all that's up there. And we watched crystal growth in real time. And it does bloom out like this. You know, I mean, to obviously see an injection, the capability to be able to see that inside somebody and see what it does create inside is another thing. And again, this technically is concentrated also in blood, and they don't vax you into your blood, do they? It goes into your muscle.
It's supposed to go.
Actually, it goes everywhere.
Yeah. In the end, it does. Yeah.
Eventually, it disperses slower through the muscle.
So again, here's me taking just the different focal shots, and I show another area. Look at this stuff down here. Spikes. I don't know what that is. New borders, new compartments. They weren't there before, and these things were emanating from the I can't say that really. Again, here's a higher point of blood here. It gives you a holistic picture of something, and we'll carry on down into this part now. Crazy, you know?
Wow.
No idea, my friend.
What was the ratio of the juice to the blood?
Well, that's a good question, because
Yeah.
I've always tried to maintain for the size of the sample at
Yeah.
least 10 to 20%. I mean, that's a very
Yeah.
loose estimate.
Yeah.
In terms of milliliters, it depends on the pressure of my thumb on the needle syringe,
Yeah,
and
of course.
That
the
looks like a road map, Chris.
Or a broken glass.
yeah.
You can actually see the two lines to make up the roads.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
does. It looks like a bloody map.
It's a map. Oh, it's like a map.
Crazy. That's
Network.
absolutely crazy.
yeah. Again, more of these little green things here, I'm sure. Yeah, there are. Look at them all,
Wow.
herding them into these little compartments.
Villages and hamlets.
Aye, so they are.
Yeah. Don't know. Yeah, there's a local.
Oh, wow.
There's a local pub there. There's a church. There's a local church.
It's like an aerial view of the Aran Islands and Galway Bay.
Yeah. Maybe these are the cattle. Don't know.
Yeah, because the longer roads on the right, where it's and where you got the blood, it's the shorter, aren't they? The shorter pattern, where it's stretched out.
Yeah.
On the right.
I'd love to get somebody who would know the same.
Yeah, you need a vampire or something about blood. A blood expert.
Count Dracula. Count Dracula.
And all these parts here, which are almost as if they've been inscribed in there, but were they supposed to have been like this also? I've no idea. And here, these aren't so deep, but it's nearer to the blood. So this has this effect. And I think what we're looking at here in terms of the colour is we're actually looking at the glass slide here. It's just out of focus.
Yeah, it's left the plate. It's like oil and glass or something.
This is the plate we're looking at. So this is actually a segment of it. It's separated all the way to the glass. And I did think hard about this when I was looking at it, and I'll show you why I came to that conclusion, or hypotheses later on. And I can see some colour there, but they're quite dark here, and it could be something to do with the lighting. And these almost look inverted now. It looks like an orange skin now, doesn't it? Or a pomegranate.
Yeah.
No idea. And again, that's what I'm saying. Is I've no idea. All I'm doing is presenting.
Chris, it looks as if you had small enough tools, you could scoop out a whole section of that. So we need to get you some small tools.
And this blooming effect there. And what I do is take a look at this because of the LCD or the liquid crystal. So bring that into view as well. Look at that. Look,
That's the edge.
That's the edge of it, yeah.
Oh wow.
And again, more peas in the pod. And I don't know what this is. Is it something that got on there? And if you have a look down here, you've got more crystallizing effect inside the fluid on its own down here, starting to beginnings of, looks it, all the way around, which is separated from here. These could be the platelets, couldn't they, that we were looking at?
Aye.
Which may have turned into these peas.
Yeah.
So I think I take a zoom in onto this. Yeah. And that's got height there, see, so I took a couple of
rock.
Yeah, I took a couple of shots of that to get the height. Where are we now? So Right, so something interesting is coming up now. Have a look at this. This is another part of the blood sample. It's crazy paving again here. Look at this thing here. Oh, what on earth is that? There's another one here. I don't think I've filmed that one. Another one here. And again through all here, you've got that. Is there flowering effects here? Beginnings of something. Not sure. Maybe this is slightly thicker, so you don't see it in between. But I wished I'd taken a bit of clearer picture of this or focused in here to see if there was any witnessing of the crystallization effect, because this is thinner, which is why it looks lighter, like a patch. But on this one, I did go closer on here. And here you can see underneath, you've got some form here as well. And also along here, you can start witnessing it the closer you look. But this thing,
what's that?
No idea what that is.
Another one just next to it.
Yeah.
Up to the right.
That one as well.
Smaller one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way this is
like small sorts of, like, I don't know, like organisms, microcosmic organisms,
possibly
establishing themselves.
Yeah. So I thought, well, I'll have to go all the way in. Look.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh.
Again.
It looks like a cell.
And that's splitting up through the pathways, Chris.
So what I'm looking at here, when I decided to look at this in depth, I'm seeing the liquid, the colours. So that has to be the glass.
Yeah, it's the glass.
That is the glass, and then whatever this is here. So does it have height? Now, remember last week when we said about the stone walls and how they looked out of focus? I think this is out of focus because it's higher, and what we're looking at, the focus is deeper, because of what we're witnessing here is the colour of the glass which we're seeing inside here.
Right.
So even though they look as if they're standing above this, I think I'm focusing below this. So this is out of focus above, which gives the impression to your eye naturally that it's standing above this.
It looks the other way around, doesn't it?
It looks the other way around, yes. And I had to blur that out because it looked like a picture of a naked man. No, there's
in your head, maybe we might not even have seen it. What you're
no. So basically, what I did is I refocused. Let's go back. So look at the focusing of the blood. It's out of focus. I focused on this. So I thought what I'll do is just give the impression is that I refocused on the surface of the blood. Now it's all out of focus. You see.
Yeah.
Which this means is this is out of focus, which means I have to focus deeper, not come out more. So that's why you have that effect now. So this is out of focus now when this is in, which is deeper.
Okay.
So I'm glad we cleared that up, to be honest. And here we have more globules of something.
A lot of swirls down there on the right-hand corner, bottom right.
These?
That looks like swirls.
Swirls.
Aye, then they were interrupted by the blue lines.
Yeah, look, yeah.
Like the swirls were there first.
Yeah, because you continue through the
Aye, and then whatever these lines are, that's the thing that's moving then, Chris. That's what's creating all these shapes.
Well, do you think that as the blood dried out and whatever's evaporated is actually sort of segmented and these lines have appeared as this is split as it's dried?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're seeing the glass.
But did that happen in the untreated blood that these lines appeared when it dried?
Yes, we have Similar lines, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
good, yeah. Nothing as drastic, I don't think. But
No.
the beauty is we can go back and have a look. It looked more natural, well, from what we think is natural.
Mm.
And again, some more close-ups. These peas in the pods here. And this is more central to a clump of an area of blood. So potentially the crystalline effect is happening underneath this in the fluid, which we can't see. And that's where I show it. See, it's all in and around here. And then down here you can see where it's thinner, all the patterning effect going on. This isn't the worst at the moment. You've got the worst to come yet.
Okay.
Something up here. That could be something similar. Not sure what that is. Could be just a bit of debris. And again, here we are. It's all over the shop here on this thinner bit. We've seen this before, haven't we, Mick?
Yep.
Sandy?
Yeah.
Over the whole shebang. Very defined.
Spreads everywhere.
Yeah. And here we are. This is some really nasty. It reminds me of the Alien spaceship. This, Alien film.
Yeah.
I just look at this mess here. Gordon Bennett. I mean, come on.
Oh.
Look what it's done. It's destroyed it. It's changed it.
Yeah.
It's like when they walked through the alien spaceship, was it in Aliens when they were walking through the plant? They go, "What the hell's all this?" And they're looking at it.
Aye.
They do, don't they?
I mean, look at that thing there. It's just, it's like a subframe of something, which is everything's stemming off it or connecting to, and these large, big spines. My word.
I wonder that's part of the separation process.
It's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, that would make a nice mural, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah.
Tell you what,
You'd
there's
look
probably
at
some artists who get a lot of money for saying he done that.
Yeah. Yeah. Who drew that? God. No, not God, the devil.
Dear me.
Complicated.
I'd like to see a video at close up, Chris, to see it actually growing.
Well, that's
any movement.
yeah. Again, with this particular piece of equipment, I can do video. The resolution on this is 3,680 by something like 2,000 and something else. So you're getting a really good resolution. And each picture is, and let me give you an example. That picture what image is that? That's image 829. And the size of that is, well, let me come on properly. Oh, this disc is spinning up, I think. I see the properties on that. And it is, oh, is that right? It's compressed. It's, that's about 800 meg.
I've just got to let the dog out. He's wandering up and down, up and down. Back in a minute.
All right.
Okay.
So I mean, look at the structure there. It's, I mean, to see this form in real time, to take a video of it, it's I can only do 19 seconds of video at a time because it's so hungry in size, and you only want to take a snapshot of something. It's not designed. You don't buy that tool to take video. You take it to take snapshots of the edges of certain things and the build and depth of things. You see, so which you'd be able to pinpoint to a specific process. So to do a video, I did do one video once, and it took about 15 minutes just to actually get it onto the USB to finish the file. And it's Windows 10 based, but it's the software which actually crunches all the video. And it's a pain in the butt because it doesn't always do it right because it's not designed for that. So the video card and the processor inside the PC that's attached to this microscope isn't the fastest, you know.
Yeah, it's not designed to video.
That's right. But it's designed to capture these really good photos.
These are amazing, mate.
I know.
Absolutely.
It's certainly worthwhile the time doing it to see this, you know, and discuss it.
When you consider this is happening to a drop of blood, and it's just one drop for the syringe.
Have you got a picture from just the normal blood and put them side by side to compare?
I don't think you need to do that, Sandy.
You don't see anything.
I don't mean to know.
You don't see anything like that, do you? I mean, it's certainly not like this. But I did mean to have a look at that today. I had about quite a few bits and pieces to do this afternoon. I was going to Mum's and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, you think of something, I'll do that when I come back. And by the time you do, you know, by the time I've had my snooze and freshen up a bed and organise and get ready. Times it's 8 o'clock already. So yeah, it just comes around quickly. So
what's this doing inside people?
heaven knows. So I'll go to the next slide.
I was showing my brother the day, the last video we made, Chris.
Mm.
And he's totally with the program, but he's rolled his sleeve up twice. And I just said the same to him as I said to the nurses through the week. Hope you had a placebo.
Yeah, something there. So I was looking for these strands as well, Mick, on here.
Yep.
There's one there. It's hard to say if it is contamination or what is contamination, what isn't. You know.
I know.
Be a bit hard.
Can we rent a clean room?
That was what I was going to say. It'd be a bit hard for me to just get into a clean room suit, make a cut, and then produce it.
Maybe we can hire one for a day.
What spec of clean room do you want? Oh, at least a class 1,000. All right, that'll be £500 an hour, please. They're not cheap to run.
Okay, we'll rent it forever then.
What do you want it for? For the goodness of humanity.
Aye. No, we just tell them what they say, Chris. It's for your health. It's all for your health.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. You know, make a big song and dance about it. Obviously, this in the workplace could be construed as a biohazard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know,
right.
but they are for the record between two glass plates. So it is contained. But you know, at the end of the day, there's some more crystalline structure up in the corner there. And I think what I did was I just refocused just to get a perspective on the height. A little nipple there or something. Very angular too, isn't it?
Well, it's definitely got depth. It's definitely something.
Look at that. Look at that bad boy there. You can imagine him crawling, couldn't you?
I know, that's what I'm saying, Chris. To catch it actually moving would freak people out. Aye, so we'll do that this week. I'll send you a sample. Well, but a syringe full. What do you? Is that enough, Chris?
Yeah, you never know, I might spill some.
No, I can fill a syringe for you.
Only, well, probably a third would do, mate. It's
Aye.
Well, I suppose if you did do a syringe, not a full syringe, but you know, a good decent amount. If it did start to coagulate, probably the scent of it might last a bit longer.
Yeah, maybe safe. Aye. We'll do that then.
Yeah.
You'd have to keep it cold then.
I've sorted that out, Sandy. I've worked out a plan.
Good. Okay.
Right.
Here's something in the centre there, Mick. See it. Under this lighting and the way it almost does look crystal. You could almost say, it has glass
Yeah.
But again, it could be the lighting that's giving that effect. It certainly has depth on there.
Yeah.
And I think I might actually start focusing on the spaces here that we looked at before.
Right.
And we've seen all this before, Mick, haven't we? Where these things grow off it, you know, and then break off
Yeah.
from the original video we did, or the video shots.
So these things we're looking at now, Chris, these will maybe, if they were inside somebody, they would continue to grow, and that would be the branch that all the crystals would come off it.
Yeah, but what we don't know is what the crystals would turn into. We saw what they ended up on the original sample. It's hard to say, Mick. If this is what you've got outside the body and this is the result, surely inside the body, you don't want this inside your body, no matter what it's going to turn into.
No, that's for sure.
I mean, do we say that it's good? Do we say it's bad?
I don't think it's anything good.
Well,
and we don't know till we compare, really.
Yeah, and like I say, this here is what I start focusing on, and there you go. So I'm looking at the glass here because I've got that fluid type. This we're looking at the bottom now. Something there, all the way along inside there, isn't there? You know.
Right. So see the samples in the water, both the tap water and the still water. I think it's the tap water. That's when we saw the actual creatures, these things that were moving and living, right?
Yeah.
We've no saw anything like that when it's mixed with blood.
No.
So that only happened when it was with the water sample. So does that mean that the worm things that we've seen, does that mean they were from the water or from the syringe?
Yeah, probably the water, Mick.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because there's nothing that I've been waiting to see anything shows up in the blood that resembles these things, and there's nothing.
No.
Yeah, we got a launch here. Look. So I take a few shots of this coming in, and I have a look down here to see why this is launching, or why it's coming off. Like it could have been one of my streaks, but it's not. It's not a streak that I would expect to see with the needle. It's almost as if this has deliberately come out for some reason, but I don't know. That's the bottom line is. So come in to have a look. What's going on? Look at the bottom there, the flowering effect.
Yeah.
And it has nothing's disturbed around here, so it's almost as if it's natural. There's no grabbing effect. It's grown out, hasn't it?
It just looks like the roots of a tree. There's a trunk going up.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And here's the flowering effect. Peas again.
Okay, I'm back now.
Hiya. And just when you think you're concentrating, you get one of the zoo animals walk past your microscope. Is a giraffe? Look, is a. But this is obviously higher up, and not a lot going on there. But this obviously you can see the glass plate here with all the little scratches on it, and the grain. Not sure what this is here. I think this might be underneath the glass. Okay. All right. I don't think that's anything on top. And there's the giraffe again.
Oh yeah.
Looks like a distorted face there, doesn't it? Like,
It does a little bit,
So there's the nose, the mouth, the two eyes. Yeah. He's got a ribbon in his hair. And again, with this liquid crystal sort of effect of the fluid. And that's the very tip. If it was a streak, you would. Well, I don't know. I can't really say. It's very small, but yeah, this is 20 times, 50 times maybe.
The image isn't changing in front of me, Chris. I've been getting the same image while you keep talking about different images.
Okay, you got a bit of delay, have you? So we're looking at the end of the launch, as it were. Can you see that, Mick?
Nothing's changing here. Nothing's changed for a few minutes, actually.
Well, if you click on my picture again.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, sorry.
Is it changing for you, Sandy?
I'm looking at what you're talking about.
Yeah. So where's my mouse now, Mick?
It's up in just up by the middle, to the right.
No, I'm in the top left-hand corner now.
No, my screen's frozen then.
Okay, so if you quit and come back in, Mick, I'll hang 5. Let's go to the next slide. Coming towards the end now, I think. I'll just wait for Mick to come back. You'll see if he sees this.
Is this the same sample?
Still the same sample. I haven't changed slides yet. This is still the blood and the vsauce.
Okay.
There's the edge of the glass there. That's what you're looking at. So this time, even though the blood still looks quite dark, it's not so thick as it was last week, to an extent that this sauce has penetrated all the way through and has this effect on it.
Yeah.
It's very, very destructive, isn't it? Or constructive, if I could say.
Yeah, and distinct as well.
Yeah. He might be rebooting now. So, and here there's this. I think I was seeing maybe somewhere I saw the ring defect, but I'm not seeing those shards around anywhere so much.
Hey, I'm back.
Hi, Mick. Are you seeing the screen now?
Yeah. Yeah, that's better.
Can you see that globule in the middle?
Yep.
Okay. So again, we have this blooming effect around here. Not so much over there. Couldn't really say why. It's towards the edge of the glass. That is interesting. Maybe it didn't penetrate out as far. Who knows? That looks like the beginning of an embryo, look.
Doesn't it?
Look, it looks like my kitchen floor this morning.
So we're going to have a closer look at this part here, this flowering effect. And yeah.
Wow.
And again, look at that. Look, this is it here. The colours of the fluid on the glass plate. Who's to say the glass plate couldn't be having that effect on the fluid? So actually adding sort of contour lines as in light. But no blood here except for the fluid, you see?
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you do get the blood. And I think I took a few photos of this in focus. As you can see there's the top, and you've got that.
So if you look at that back in focus, Chris, see that back. Go back to images, and you can see that the colours, the oil that we call it, is below these lines. So
Yeah.
that would mean the colours are on the surface.
Yeah.
And we're crawling on top of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Right. This is kind of weird when you think this kind of crap's going inside people.
Mm-hmm. And here's the, as I say, this is 50 times now. I may focus
Right.
in colours deeper now because the exposure has rescinded slightly.
You can just imagine that thing getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that's grown up all over whatever's there.
Oh, that bit right in the centre there, Chris, where your mouse is right now.
Yeah.
Just there.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of the crystals from the last video.
Yeah.
They were starting to form up on the edge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the start of the crystals.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a similarity between this and the water then.
Yeah. And here is the more flowering effect on another area. I think we're coming to the end of this, I think, anytime soon. A few more slides. Again, I just wanted to show all the blooming around the place, and even in the deeper parts, how much it's penetrated.
It's even into the thicker blood.
Yeah, but I don't think it's as thick as it was last week, though, Mick.
No.
And there's a central point down here where it's all emanating out from, flowering out from.
Yeah. And the same in just in the centre as well. You can see it blooming. Right down the left hand of the centre, the bottom.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if this hadn't solidified so quickly, these blooming effects would have actually sort of amalgamated into something more akin to this, because it's thinner and it has time and the ability to actually do what it needs to do, as opposed to being left in this thicker fluid here. Who knows? But you can see the contrast between the thinner, getting thicker, and back again, you know. So I think it was a good shout to actually try and splay the blood out some.
Aye, done well, mate.
Same again. This is on the other side. So you see that flowering effect, the creeping, then the thicker blood, it stops, and then back again. It's almost as if it's caused a barrier there, and there's nothing this side. You know? No splines I can see lying around.
And the stuff on the left certainly looks like it's moving.
It's the network, isn't it?
Look at that one there. Look. Crumbs. Yeah.
That's strange.
Very. Completely random, isn't it? This one's bent around, that's bent here.
It's like looking at a plate full of caterpillars. What do you call them?
Millipedes.
Millipedes.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
I mean, imagine if off every single one of these branches, you've got these little nodules on the end there, Mick. See them?
Yeah, that's just, that'll be where the crystals are forming, probably.
Look at how many's just in this one shot. If they were generating or allowed to generate, what on earth?
Like I was saying before, I don't think each branch just throws out one crystal. I think it'll be a continual thing.
Wow.
Just like the other things, this other protein thing.
Yeah.
That's continual.
And here's more thinner spaced out You can see in here,
Yeah.
you got more flowering effect, but it's thinner, so it dried quicker. Not enough time to actually produce anything like you saw on the thick stuff, which took longer to dry. This has dried pretty quickly, but there's witnessing of the same
Same pattern.
type of thing. But it's all
If each of these things are creating a crystal, that's millions and millions continually.
I'd say in the billions, mate, depending on the shot.
Aye.
This is only from a few drops,
I know.
not a whole syringe full. I mean, okay, diluted by the horn now.
Aye.
For some
I
reason,
don't
the
know where
video
they left
stopped.
off.
No, it doesn't matter. So here we have the lattice work underneath the. Is it recording? It should be. It doesn't seem to be moving on. Hang on a sec. Why have I getting these problems now? It's
I don't know, I had the same issue this week as well, trying to get recorded.
it's not even recording.
Yeah.
I'll just pause it again. It is recording. Well, but the recording number is stuck on 23 seconds, but it looks as if it is recording, so carry on.
Right.
Next screen. Again, I'll just bring up the magnification for the lattice work underneath.
Yep.
Yeah.
Peas everywhere.
You can see it underneath, definitely.
Yeah. Better how to focus that one. And that's the last shot, I think, or second to last shot. We've seen this blooming effect, haven't we, Mick,
Yeah.
in the other substances? And these are little clumps, no blood, but it has the flowering effect with nothing to assist it to change to whatever it needs to change into, by the look of it. It's just the fluid, isn't it?
Aye.
And that's that. Okay. So it's definitely recording, he says. So now what we're on to is the blood and the V source and the electrification. So the first part of the video where you saw me with my two large probes zapping the water, this is the result once it had dried. Okay?
Right.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. First slide. It looks a bit more sort of beer, but there are some witnessing of flowering effects here. See that?
Yep.
Okay. And it's a bit, a bit more ununiform, non-uniform. It looks as if, let's take a look at that. It looks as if it's trying. You see that in amongst the blood, but it's almost as if it's not formed on the blood, but away from it.
Aye. What a barrier.
There's something there, but it's not 100%. And here, something's going on here. Doesn't quite seem to make up its mind. Does there. But let's move on. Not sure what that is here. Just getting that flowery effect as if it's just resolving itself and not with the blood. More again. And here we've got something with the blood, is it? And it is, this is probably thinner as it's dried and it's been allowed to, doesn't look so defined, does it? It's almost as if it's trying, but not quite there.
Yeah.
If I may say that.
Yeah.
There is a stark
It looks
difference,
that
would
way.
you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
There's more to see yet. Here again, you would almost be forgiven to think it's a different type of fluid that this
Yes, you would
the
be.
free source has been put into, if it wasn't for the colours.
Yeah.
Just not. It's trying, but it's just going wayward. Look,
Right, falling
it's
apart.
yeah. It's saying, oh, don't know. It has the same here, a blooming effect. It's trying. We have a look at that. It almost looks as if it's harmonizing.
Aye.
And this is a close-up of it, and definitely trying, isn't it? As you can see here, look, there's the blood. It's just not.
It's an inferior attempt to the original. To try and whatever it's actually doing.
It almost looks flowery, doesn't it? As if it's.
See where your mouse is right now, Chris?
Yeah.
Right there. Aye,
Yeah.
that looks. Aye. So just in front of that is a line going down, with just to the right where we are right now.
Yeah.
And that looks like the start of the crystals.
Yeah.
And that bit where your mouse was a second ago, that's on top of the darker stuff.
Yeah. And the darker stuff is, well, yeah.
You can quite clearly see that the lighter stuff is on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the triffids again.
And here we've got the separation between clumps. I'll have a look and see if there's anything happening in between. Can't really see. No. Getting the same effect of these partitions, we saw the same similar patterns, almost like mixed up, garbled hieroglyphics, doesn't it? But again, if I come out to the edges here, there's no. Well, there's some there. Look, if you look, it's the beginnings of something. I might have actually. Let's go to the next slide. No, coming back to the center again. So we have all this type of stuff up here. Look at this, denied. It's what? It's destroyed. Look. It's just. Now that's quite a stark difference. Look at it. It's here. It's just not having it, is it? Could be part of the. If I look inside here, anything there? Nope.
Could they be bubbles or something, Chris?
Well, I mean, even in the original, I don't think they are bubbles, Mick. You've got the lines there coming across, which would be from. It could be charged. It could be, but then.
The ones to the right hand side, the brighter ones.
But then, I say charged. It was, duty 50% duty cycle. It was as much positive as it was negative. See, so. If you think back to how the blood was reacting to it, hard to say, isn't it? I mean, there's no denying that it has had an effect.
Oh yeah.
Oh, aye.
Oh, definitely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Whether this is now, and I mean, I think I focus on this to have a look and see what's on top. You see that there? What's this mess on here? There you go. It's almost as if it's sort of crystallized.
Aye.
It's, you know,
Bit of skin.
yeah.
You get very colourful blood, Chris, I've got to tell you.
Yeah. Matches my personality.
Well, I've heard a lot of your colourful language.
Yeah.
Well, the mind boggleth.
Yeah.
It does, Jax. Yeah, yeah.
So see down the bottom left there, Chris, is that a smaller version of what's in the middle?
Here.
Yeah, keep going down.
Further down.
Keep down.
There.
Aye, right there. Aye, there.
We've seen.
Would that have turned into what this is up on the right? Wow, more colours, Chris.
No, I don't think so, because that's on top, whereas this has separated out. Yeah. It's almost like a moat, isn't it, with like little pathways leading. You know. I'd love to know why that is. It because of charge, maybe? Is it because of that? And the way this is dried has these partitions, which makes you. I don't know. That's the bottom line. I keep saying that. I don't know, and I don't.
Well, around the edges of it, Chris, it looks as if these lines going into it are below whatever this thing is, this globule thing.
Yeah.
They're below it. So was there more of them, and then that formed?
More of this stuff on top. Look.
Yeah.
And again, a wider view, you can see the flowering effect is coming out, but it's not so stark as the other one. I mean, you got some sort of blooming effect here, but it's almost as if it's saying, it can't. I wonder if I take a closer shot of that. Hang on a second. Let's have a look. Maybe. And with all the separation of these with the fluid underneath, there's nothing connecting in between any of this, is there?
No.
Absolutely nothing there. And it loves, as we've seen, it loves the blood.
Yeah.
And yet nothing here. It's you got this maze effect here, yeah. Again, more of those little circles there. Look. There you go, further afield. Down here. You've got, excuse me, this bit down here is trying.
Yeah.
It's trying. There, perhaps. It doesn't like it, does it? Oh, maybe up here. Look, there's something up there going on. And there, look. So maybe this is on the extreme. I wish I made a reference to this as to where it was in the sample, but I can't say. Not my hand on my heart. But I'm glad we're witnessing something there in the process of, whereas the majority is nothing there for the amount I zapped it. And here we are.
Effect anyway, Chris.
Yeah, this is the thinner stuff which should have dried out quicker. Yet it's trying, isn't it, with this?
Yeah.
But it's just not as successful, is it?
That's what a design.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a bit of wallpaper.
Yeah. Another section. I had the makings of it, but it didn't quite work. Well, it looks as if we need to perfect something here, people. Back to the drawing board. And again, all this debris is probably a lot of debris on here. That could be skin. I don't know. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe this is something here which is not to its liking either. More colours again. Look. And further afield, this is probably again down below, probably mid. You got the blooming effect around here. Yeah, nothing major. And again, on the thicker parts, you see nothing. I mean, this is again taking it to high magnification, all the fern effect.
Aye.
Yeah.
It definitely looks like it's something is growing.
I think that at least looks prettier, doesn't it? You know?
Pretty frightening.
Huh. And more of these compartmental sections where it's dried or. I think that's just the same thing. But this one we looked at earlier, this here, and here's some above. Definitely there. Nothing in between the shallower parts here. No lattice work in between there. And the different colours, the darker colours, obviously where the blood's thicker.
Yeah.
And there's mini Africa. And so I'll zoom in into that. See how thick that is, but around here, some little lattice work going on, but I might go in a bit more. Yes, I do. I think this is when I looked at this picture here, I started to think about these gaps here.
Aye.
And I think if I go in again, do I? Yes, I do. Now you can see how they are separated out, and this gives you the effect now that all this is below, where this is on top. So I think I invert that now, do I? Yes, I do.
Right.
So this is what we saw last week, Mick, when we were talking about this effect here. Now what we're actually looking at is the actual glass.
Right.
And this is out of focus because it's above, not below. And this made it look as though it was sitting above. So would you concur with that?
Aye.
If I go back one and then back again.
Right, got you.
Yeah. So basically, we're used to looking at stuff which is out of focus behind us, not in front of us, right? Yeah.
But see these circles in these green lines. They look as if they're in some kind of order.
What, here or?
Up, just up to the left of centre.
Left to centre.
Where's your mouse?
There.
Right. Aye, just below your mouse, there's a line here. Aye, right there.
Yeah.
They're doing that. That looks as if they're in some kind of order. I'm trying to think that, I'm thinking like the oil and water thing where they don't mix.
Okay.
And
I was thinking about that earlier as well, mate.
aye,
Like separating
there's
the
something causing it to
plasma.
separate, Jackie.
Yeah, separating blood components.
Could be the positive and negative. Yeah.
Aye.
Or positives, negatives.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a close up again. That's 50 times there. It's funny how it just gives the effect. I think it's because of the soft focus on the edge. It gives the effect that it's round because this out of focus on top is sort of impeding the edges, so it gives the effect that it looks round, and the fact that it's coming down like that. I don't know. And here, excuse me, there. So here you go. There's the glass plate. Here's those borders, and that's the same focus as this point here. You've got something going on underneath. It's trying to start to flower. It's not having much luck, is it?
No. No.
Not very good. Deformed.
Yeah.
Something missing.
Yeah. It's been zapped. And here we have those rings again. See that? Which we saw in the last video on the,
Aye.
you know. That's the edge of the glass plate. At the extreme. Nothing there. Same again. Nothing there. It looks like the first slide, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is good news.
Yeah.
And I'm picking this out now because I'm trying to have a look for shards anywhere. See if there's anything on there at all. Can't see anything. Just looks like the first sample. That's a high mag. Back to more again. Any witnessing? There's witnessing marks of it trying. Look there. Down this side. Up here. Nothing over here.
So it's lost the ability to do something that it should do naturally.
Nothing there, is there?
Yeah.
And all these streaks would have been me, you know, with the needle and yeah. Nothing at all. Oh, and here we go. This fella here is quite interesting. I think Michelle talks about this as well, about angels. They're calling them angels or something in the blood, Jacks.
Looks like a dragon.
Looks like a dragonfly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. These crystals, they're calling angels.
Really?
And something here, no idea.
Isn't it colours? Yep.
And I think that's it. Oh, there's one more, just a bit of a close-up. There you go. There it is.
Oh. Has she done a video about crystals, Michelle?
She's done a few bits and pieces.
I'll have a look.
Yeah, check out. She's on BitChute now, not on YouTube.
Is she?
Yeah, she's on BitChute now.
Okay.
Oh, could you put a link in the chat for that?
I could do. Yeah, I could do. I've only just sort of like, you know, through. I've been getting messages via a third party, saying, oh, she's saying this, saying that. And I said, okay. And she wanted to, so I sent her a few samples and she wants to use it. So I said, not before Sunday night, please.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh.
So she's talking about these stuff being sort of like, the LCD type of stuff, which is in us. She said they've been poisonous for years, which corroborates what we said about the jibby jabbies being the catalyst for what's in us.
Right.
Yeah. Perhaps. Okay, and that's it. That's it for the presentation. I shall stop sharing the screen.
Well, I hope you found that interesting. And I'll take one for the team, and I'll provide a sample in my blood and try and get it out for next weekend. Well, thanks for watching. Please comment.